Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. We all hear that it is in the USA, there are 78% of the students reporting mental problems due to this COVID pandemic. Even otherwise, mind is a source of constant problems for us. It gives us so many problems 24 hours a day. In this world, Lord Krishna says there are three kinds of miseries in this world. Adhyatmika, problems from our own body and mind. Starting from birth all the way until we leave the body, this body is giving sort of problem. And more than that is the mind which is actually giving more problem for us. So the problem given by mind is actually biggest of all the problems. In fact, if you see the problems in this world, wars and this and politics and this and everything, all the things are, these are all, some minds are behind in making these problems. So that is Adhyatmika, problems from our own body and mind. Then second one is Adibhautika, problems from other beings. Then the third one is Adidevika, problems from nature, which is basically gods. Of all above, the mind is the one that gives problems all the times. Because we don't have natural problem all the time. We don't have Adibhautika all the time. But mind is constantly giving problem. So Srila Prabhupada once said, our mind is so stupid and uncontrollable. So every day, take your shoe and hit on your head. Every day. Morning, get up, take the shoe and hit the mind. Yes, this means hitting our head, not someone else's head, unless it is Indian Parliament. So controlling mind is a big topic. There are so many people making money just by teaching how to control our mind. But they work only temporarily. Eventually our minds get out of control. So how can I control my mind? Is my mind constantly thinking about money? Is my mind constantly thinking about Facebook? Internet? Is my mind constantly thinking about eating? Do you know that to control obesity, there is a surgery called gastric banding. By this, by operation, they will staple your stomach so that you cannot eat more. And there is also an external control cable given outside so that you can control. Maybe even it may go to remote, who knows. But with this control, we can restrict or loosen the band so that we can eat less or more. But on this very same thing, recently there was a court case in the USA. The issue was, who should be given the control of this switch? The doctor or the patient? Why? Privacy concern. The patient should have enough privacy to control. So this is the problem. This is the problem. That is why it went to the US court. So actually, if you can control your mind, most of the diseases and problems are solved. But by controlling the mind is not easy. It is very difficult. That is why in Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna says, Chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramati balavatrudam tasyaham nikraham manye vayor iva sudushkaram. The mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate and very strong. Oh Krishna, I think that controlling the mind is more difficult than controlling the wind. So however, mind can be controlled. Even though it is said that uncontrolled mind is our number one enemy, as it always puts us in trouble one after another with non-stop problems. But on the other hand, if we could control our mind can actually become our very powerful and best friend. How do all the yogis get superpower? It is all by controlling their minds. While the scientists are pulling their hairs to find out where is our mind, See this, where is our mind is a big thing, big misery for the science. Okay, so they are pulling their hair. But we can see amazing information from our scriptures. Mano nama sankalpa vikalpatmika andhakarana vritihi manastu jnanendriya sahitam sat manomaya kosho bhavati. This is from Vedanta Sara. Okay, so like basically scientists are really stuck. They have no ideas because they are thinking that the mind is in the brain. But actual fact is it's not true. Because plants have mind. And they also do so many wonderful things. But where is the brain? There is no brain. Right? Plant does not have a brain. So, now the sutra says, the mind is the function of the internal self dealing with the decision, sankalpa, and indecision, vikalpa, along with the knowledge gathering senses, jnanendriya. So, manastu jnanendriyak sahitam, along with that, so mind is controlling all these jnanendriya sahitam, so sahitam, with that, it is actually working. So, that is the function. So it is a sheath of mind. It's called manomaya kosha. So if we take our body, we have gross body, then that is what we see. And then inside we have subtle body. The subtle body constitutes mind, intelligence and false ego. So our mind is actually also there is something, the mind is getting controlled. Is three modes of material nature. When we are born, according to our karma, we possess certain modes of material nature. Sattvic, Rajasic, Tamasic. These are the three things, like RGB, three colors. But the reality is all what we get is a combination of these. You mix these three colors and you get whatever the color you want. So if I am Sattvic, my mind will be Sattvic. That is easy to control. If I am Rajasic, my mind will be Rajasic. That is very difficult to control. If I am Tamasic, my mind will be Tamasic, almost impossible to control. For example, onion, garlic, they are all Tamasic foods. Meat and fish and egg, they are all Tamasic foods. Rajasic foods are hot and pungent. Those are all actually the Rajasic foods, which will really bring more of diseases actually. So Sattvic foods are vegetables, fruits and all the juicy and in fact, the best thing is Krishna Prasadam. Now, the question comes, can we change our nature? Yes. Slowly and slowly by food and habits, we can change our nature. It is said, we are what we eat. So what we eat influences our mind. So if we eat Sattvic food, our mind will become Sattvic and easy to control. If we eat Rajasic food, our mind will become Rajasic and is very difficult to control. If we eat Tamasic food, our mind will become Tamasic and is almost impossible to control. We can see about this fact if you really read the Bhagavad Gita chapter 17. It's all described. Lord Krishna is nicely explaining about three kinds of food and what they really do to do our body, not mainly body, mind importantly. Now, any food that we consume has three constituent elements. Any food. Sthula. Sthula means this is the Sukshma. It is actually hidden. This is for the mind. Sattvic foods have more of Sthula than the Tamasic food and then also the Rajasic food. Then the second constitution is Bala. Bala means that's a nutrition for the grass body. Then the third one is the waste, Mala. Mala means the waste that is thrown out from our body. So these are the three things. So if you see that, the Sthula part, which is subtle element in every food, goes to the mind. It nourishes the mind. It is Sthula. We cannot really see that. It's not like a nutrition value or something. No, it is actually mind. So in fact, ghee and water are supposed to be the predominant food which really enhances our mind. That's why all the saints, look at here. All they live on water, pure water. And then Krishna was stealing butter. Behind there is a lot of things involved. So much of philosophy is involved. Why butter? So anyway, so meat, fish, eggs, etc. are highly tamasic. In addition to putting us into karmic reactions, they will also lead us to hell. They give us very uncontrollable mind. So we should, first thing is not controlling the mind, is we should make sure that we eat only sattvic food. So the best is Krishna Prasadam. So Krishna Prasadam has divine mercy on it. So it is more than sattvic. Controlling our mind is a very important sadhana in religious life. Every religion actually talks about it. And most of the religious practices are meant to help in controlling our minds only. What are these those religious practices? Dahanam swadharma niyamo yamascha srutam cha karmani cha satbratani sarve mano nigraha lakshananta parohi yogo manasak samadhi. All the religious activities, what are those? Charity. You give charity. Don't accumulate wealth only for you. Give charity. Give more than what you really take it for you. Charity. Performing one's duties. We have to at the same time do our duties also. We cannot neglect. Observance of dharma. So we have to follow all the dharma. Study the scriptures. Perform sacrifices and penances, and have control of the mind as their aim. See, parai hi yogo manasak samadhi. That is basically the supreme goal of that everything. So concentration and controlling of the mind is the supreme goal of yoga. It is so important to note that if we do not control and conquer our mind, it becomes a big enemy. Either you conquer your mind like a yogi, or the mind will conquer you. You choose whatever you want. So one of these two things will happen. One of these two things will happen. Either you control the mind, or the mind will control you. That is it. There is no other way. Uttaretatma natmanam avashadayet. Atmaiva hi atmano bandhur. Atmaiva ripuratmanaha. Bandhuratmat manastasya. Yenatmaivatmanajitaha. Anatmanastu satrutve. Vartetatmaiva satruvat. The aspiring yogi should free the mind from attachment to the sense object. This is what today we are going to talk about that a lot. He should not be attached to the material world, because we are soul. The mind is either the friend of self or its enemy. That jiva who has conquered the mind can consider his mind as a dearmost and most powerful friend. But if you don't have control on your mind, and you are really going over all these sense gratifications driven by the mind, that mind will become an enemy for you. It will put you in hell. All the sadhanas we do are all to control our mind. Our mind alone is the cause of our bondage to this world, and ever stuck in the unending samsara ocean. Here is a sloka from Srimad Bhagavatam, where Lord Kapila Dev is instructing to his mother Devahuti. Cheta khalu asya bandaya muktaye chatmano matam guneshu saktam bandaya ratam vapumsi muktaye. My dear mother, the mind alone is the cause of the jiva's bondage. And also it is the cause of a jiva's liberation also. When the mind is attached to the senses, sight, hearing, smell, taste and touch, and the corresponding sense objects, the form, the sound, odor, flavor and feeling, the living entity enters into bondage. When the same mind, if it is attached to the Supreme Person, he is liberated. So here, we are seeing a small jewel here that's coming there. It is saying that the mind can be controlled, rather than, running, chasing after the senses, right? The enjoyment. It's saying how to control. Same mind can be attached to the Supreme Person. If you attach that mind to the Supreme Person, who is Lord Krishna, he is liberated. So our mind alone is also the cause of our liberation. So if we can control our mind, the liberation is instantaneous. But the big question is, how can I control my mind? That is the main subject of the chapter. I am taking two last lines of the sloka that we just recited. Guneshu sattam bandhaya ratam va pumsi muktaye. Okay, these are the 2 lines that we saw in the previous sloka. So when the same mind is attached to the Supreme Person, he is liberated. This is very important. So all the mind control comes to this one single point. Attach your mind to the lotus feet of Krishna. But you say, that's what my real problem. I cannot attach to his lotus feet. This is the problem. What can you do? Okay. So minds can be classified into 2 categories. 1, those who delve on their sense objects. 2, those who delve on absorption in Lord. Of these 2 kinds, which kind of mind do I have? That is what we should really seriously inquire. Where exactly I belong to? Which category is that? So Lord Krishna instructs Uddhava in the Uddhava Gita. Uddhava Gita is a small portion in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. I will tell you, people are mad of going over this yoga, that yoga, Bhagavad Gita. This is way superior than that. So this Uddhava Gita of Srimad Bhagavatam is so superior than Bhagavad Gita. Because Bhagavad Gita we take only 2 slokas, that's it. We are not really interested in Ashtasiddhi power, this and everything. So no, once you really become a Bhakta, your mind is controlled. That's exactly the topic we are talking about today. But how we can actually have our mind attached to the Lord is a big question. We'll follow. So here Lord Krishna instructs Uddhava, Vishayan dhyayata chittam Vishayeshu vishajate Mamanusmaratas chittam Mayeva praviliyate. The mind which dwells on the sense objects becomes attached to sense objects. Okay, so the mind is the one which is delving. It is living in that. It is living, constantly living above only on the sense objects, nothing else. But on the other hand, the mind which constantly remembers me. Who is saying this one? Here Lord Krishna is telling Uddhava Gita, becomes absorbed in me. See, this is what, again, come into the same thing only. But we have a problem. I am not able to do it. This is my problem. I go to the temple and then ask for only for my own sense gratification. That's all I am asking. And I come out, that's the only thing that I am doing. So that means I cannot get liberated. So this is actually what is the big problem that we are facing. This pictorially, what you see here, it shows these 2 kinds of minds. At the left you see those whose minds are attached to the sense objects. At the right you see the minds of the saints who are absorbed always in Lord. There is a big difference. There is a big difference. Right? One is attaching yourself on the stool. Other one is attaching yourself to on the nectar. But we think that the stool is the nectar. Every one of our acharyas and Guru Parampara ate only once a day even. Actually, just before we discussed about the importance of sattvic food also. Any food, not just any food we can use. If you are eating sattvic food, the mind can be controlled slowly and steadily. Okay, so sattvic food, as we just saw, that can help you to control your mind. So we have to first adopt to eating only sattvic food. No meat, no fish, no egg, nothing, no onion, no garlic. In fact, onion and garlic, in terms of tamasic, they are the worse than even meat. Tamasic nature. Because onion and garlic has something called, there is a poison in that. That is the one which really even penetrates the brain and the cell barrier and then gets in. So, every one of our acharyas, our Guru Parampara ate. Okay, of course that's a sattvic food. But they ate only once a day. And mostly they lived on water. They all were healthy even though thin. Yesterday we covered this in the Harikatha. Srila Raghunath Das Goswami had only a palm full of buttermilk for the whole day. That's it. And Ganga Mata Thakurani, which was the Harikatha yesterday, ate only 1/4 of a chapati and drank just Yamuna water. And the picture at the right, what you see is Ter Kadamba. This is where Srila Rupa Goswami was. Of course, he did not have any hut even. He was just staying under the trees. He stayed, and had bhajan kutir. And Rupa Goswami never cooked. And even now there is no cooking. If you go to Ter Kadamba, there is no cooking at all. No. It's only what, the devotees bring. That's what the prasadam that is. But there is plenty of coming. You visit, you will be always prasadam. So, now the thing is, Rupa Goswami never cooked, and even now there is no cooking. And one day, out of compassion, even Srimati Radharani came as a girl and started to cook. Anyway, that's a big story. Every Goswami lived a very simple life. So, the secret is this. The secret of mind control is this. Very important. More you eat, the more you will sleep, and because then your mind becomes dull and stupid. So secret to sadhana is eat only once. Not taking a 9-course meal, going to restaurant and exploiting your senses. If you travel in Indian trains, you will see something. Every 10 minutes or something, some will come, chaya, 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 chaya. Murku. Something, they will always keep on coming every 10 minutes. Soya, sweets, and this and that. You can see some passengers just keep on buying. And something comes, chaya. Okay, give me chaya. Okay, all right, he drinks the chaya. And then after some time, there will be some something else, some sweet or something will come. Okay, give me that one. Okay. Then vada comes. Okay, we eat that. Every 10 minutes, eating. They have an uncontrollable mind. If you eat once a day, you are a yogi. You can control your mind. If you eat twice a day, you are a rogi. Rogi means one who is susceptible to get disease. Just 2 times eating alone. If you eat thrice a day, you are trohi. You are a criminal. Because you are eating somebody else's food also in this, on this planet. And what about eating every 5 minutes or 10 minutes? People do that. They think, I always get hungry. Always get hungry. I want to eat something all the time. So, those people, I don't know what to say. Eat just once a day, or maybe maximum 2. But eat simple prasadam. Don't make so many bhajis and suki, this and all kinds of things. No. And by taking the simple prasadam, then go to bed, empty stomach. But people always say, no, never go to sleep empty stomach. That is where you are getting the problem. If you eat, because the research is also now starting to say, if you go to the bed with empty stomach, you won't get any disease. Your disease will be gone. Even if you have disease, everything will be gone. That is why fasting is extremely powerful. We are fasting for Ekadasi. And also for Ramzan, they fast for 40 days or something. I don't know what they eat in the night. That is different. But the fasting concept is there. Ekadasi fasting is, that gives tremendous spiritual power for us. So the bottom line is, if we want to control our mind, what? First thing is, go for sattvic food. Then second is do not eat too much. At the night, just go empty. Just to take some water and go. I will tell you the secret. If we want to get up early in the morning, like our Gurudev gets up 2:30 a.m. and by 3:34, the Nishanda Leela starts at 3:34 a.m. Okay, it goes. That's another topic again. So by 2:30 he gets up, and by 3:30 he's ready, and he takes the chanting bead and then goes for walking at that time, 3:30. And he is able to control. Look at it, because all the acharyas could really engage in devotion, and at the same time sleeping very little, 2 hours, or maybe Rupa Goswami used to sleep 1.5 hours. That's all. Raghunath Das Goswami 1 hour, and Haridas Thakur maybe 2 hours. But where do they get the strength from? It is coming from the Lord. It is coming from your own power that you have. It is called, okay, actually in the naturopathy and all those things, we really talk about something called vital force. That vital force is something that it comes from cosmic. When you sleep in the night, a lot of people actually, they really, just charge their battery. But the saints, their battery charging is supercharging. Just like that, they get charged. Okay, there's a lot of secrets there. Eventually, science will also come to that. So, eat sattvic food. Then your mind can be controlled, and then you can give it to Krishna. Okay, see that? Now slowly you are catching that. Mayeva mana adatsva mayi buddhi nivashaya nivashishyasi mayeva ata urdvam na samsaya. Dedicate, see the Lord Krishna says, dedicate your mind exclusively to me. Oh Arjuna, fix your intelligence in me. And as a result, you will definitely reside with me after death. Of this, there is no doubt. But is it feasible for everyone? We have to ask ourselves. So the thing to do is sattvic food and simple life. And nothing there in the night. Just go. You will definitely get up early in the morning. You don't need any alarm at 5 o'clock. And what do you do? 4 o'clock or something. I want to chant today early morning. You set up the alarm. You just snooze it. I will sleep for another 10 minutes. And 10 minutes becomes hours and hours. And finally, nothing, no sadhana. Why? Because you ate last night. That will spoil your devotion. And it will ask you to really sleep more and more and more. That is why it is not possible. Well, what if I cannot exclusively think about Krishna now? See, that is another thing. The mind, okay, now we are getting to another topic now. Yes, I am okay, I am alright, I am sattvic, I am actually about to really now commit myself to really think about Krishna. But the thing is, it's not possible. It's somehow very difficult. I am really trying to think, and then after some time, all my stock market will come there. All my WhatsApp, thing message, all the things will come there. I have to hurry up. Everything comes there. What can I do? For that, Lord Krishna says another alternative. Atachittam samadhatum Nasachnoshi mayi sthiram abhyasa yogena tato mam ichhaptum Dhananjaya. Oh Dhananjaya, Arjuna, if you cannot establish your mind in me with firm faith, alternatively try to reach me by practice. Abhyasa yogena. Abhyasa yogena. What does that mean? Repeated meditation on me. So what is Abhyasa Yogena? Sadhana. That is the very topic of this book. Perform spiritual sadhana. But I have another problem. I am weak. I am not able to really perform any spiritual sadhana. So the answer is very simple. Take shelter of a guru. You will put so many orders here and there. You will be bound, but of course you have to have faith in Guru. You have to obey to Guru. So unless you have Shraddha in Guru, there is no point in taking Guru. Otherwise Guru is nothing. That's a nonsense. So if you take Guru and you have faith, so see now it's coming to Shraddha. Again it is mind related. See, the mind is it's a catch-22. So many things it can do. Now, here are some very important facts about our mind that I would like you to understand. Understanding these will help us to find out where we are. And what can be done to improve our mind control? There are 5 stages of mind control according to Yoga Sutra. Kshipa, flickering, unsteady. Mudha, bewildered. Muda, basically Muda, they are fools. Bewildered. Vikshipa, distracted with external things. Ekagra, concentrated, like a steady flame in a windless room. See, it's improving. See? Going from Shipa, flickering, then you go to bewildered, that is the next stage. Then come to somewhere, you will be able to really, concentrate a little bit here, but if there is external distraction, then you go mad. But Ekagra is not like that. It concentrated, doesn't matter whatever that happens. Then comes Niruddha. Niruddha means fully controlled. This is what we are going to talk about. Going from Shipa, flickering, flickering means what? Going from one subject to another, here and there, running and back and forth. That is the most basic and biggest problem, Shipa. Okay, now first one. The first kind is Shipa, flickering, unsteady and uncontrolled. And in fact, there is no mind control at all. Shipa means no mind control, flickering all the time. It desires everything other than Krishna. Okay, everything other than Krishna. Anything about Krishna comes, it doesn't really care at all. It's not interested. And entangled with material objects and activities. They will be juggling with so many things at the same time. Lot of juggling they will be doing. Jumps from one subject to another. One subject to another. It is compared to a restless monkey which jumps from one tree to another, or jumping from one branch to another, never staying in any place for long. This Shipa stage is like a restless monkey. Many people normally possess this in this material world. Then second, Muda, bewildered, confused on what to do and what not to do. Tries to listen to what the mind says. See, there are 2 channels, always 24 hours, 24, I don't know CNN is 24 hours or not. It's like the CNN channel. It's always, but there are 2 channels. One is called WPP, positive channel. Other one is WNN, negative channel. Like listening to the CNN, this mind listens to both and get confused. Because he can't decide what is the best thing to do. No viveka, that means no discrimination. Here is an example. Well, you come with the reason as why you should attend the satsang today. This kind of mind will come up with 100 reasons why you should not go. Oh, today it's going to rain. Some families are coming. What if that family comes which I don't like? Oh, what if I get into accident when I'm driving? You know what? My car is already old and already too much of mileage is there. I don't want to really drive today. Oh, I am so tired today. This is the WNN channel. So the WPP channel comes with one nice thing, idea, but the WNN comes with hundreds of reasons. So this stage is called Muddha, confused on what to do or what not to do. That is why we should always listen to our Guru and follow whatever he says. Literally we follow, that's it. The third kind is called Vikshipa, distracted with the external things. But occasionally they are calm and focused. They tend to isolate from external disturbances. They tend to because they have conquered the tamasic and rajasic mode of nature. They are really advanced. But when they are distracted too much, because mind is in control. They are actually doing the sadhana, chanting or something, or meditating or something is actually going on. What happens? All the distractions comes. They are really so distracted. But They will know, I want to do it. See, that's the third stage. I want to somehow do it. They are the one who really turn to yoga meditation, not the first or second case. The third, Vikshipa. If one is in the Vikshipa stage, they will have natural inclination to go for yoga meditation. But they cannot tolerate any disturbance. Because that's the typical yoga is also like that one. You go to any yoga practice and you started to talk outside, they are totally distracted. They will really come and ask you just go away. Okay, so this is the nature, that's the third kind. Okay, so first kind is the dangerous. First kind, what happens is, suppose you really take out your chanting bead, as soon as you start touching and saying Hare, and there are millions of things will come. These will come. You are chanting is going on. But millions of things are actually, going on in the mind. And you get in the temple room, all right, okay, you do start the arati, and nicely singing, you are singing. But your mind is somewhere else. It comes with one after another, constantly coming. And then by the time you finish the prayer, hey, did I finish this? Did I really go through this? You are not sure even. And then the next. So this is unconcentrated mind. Okay, that is the first one. So this is third is better, but they don't want any distraction. That is why they want to go far away and the remote places, and then so that they can do the chances, the sadhana. Vikshipa. Fourth is the higher is called Ekagra. Ekagra means concentrated and steady. We can compare this to a steady flame in windless room. See, this mind has overcome completely tamasic and rajasic, of course, like the previous one. And he is constantly positioned in the sattvic mode. So this fourth stage is where your sattvic bhava, the sattvic mindset is really expressed here. Because why? He was eating sattvic food, and slowly that meditation was really going, getting easier and easier. Now he controls the mind, and the mind obeys to him like a slave. Okay? So at the fourth stage, if we come to this, your mind is now working for you. It has already become a friend for you. And whatever you really want to, want the mind to really do it will do it. It will come with all kinds of power. I will tell you, it's a very powerful. It's a monster. Our mind is a monster. The way so powerful that it can drag us, the same way, this whole power, it can give it to you. That is what the yogis do. So the yogis really trap this power of the mind only. They sit in the Himalayas, they have all completely nothing, whole wall snow, but without any dress even, right? They can control the whole body because of the mind. It will be warm. The body will be warm and sweating even. They can do it. This is the mind, the power of the mind. Now the fifth stage is what is important. This should be the goal of us. This is the topmost stage of mind control. In this stage, the mind is fully controlled. There is no question of even coming with any disturbance, nothing. Mind is fixed in the true nature. What is the true nature? The true nature of the soul will manifest, not the mind. Soul, what is the true nature of our soul? We are servant of the Lord. Jivera Surupahaya, Nitya Dasa, Krishnera Nitya Dasa. So he has no sense desires, absolutely none. The mind becomes like a burned out wick. That's what this particular the sutra says that. It's like a burned out wick. That's it. We cannot even light it again. It's burned. And he engages in 24 hours of devotion every day. And Radha Krishna is coming closer and closer and closer. He gets the darshan all the time. He can experience spiritual exchanges between him and the Lord. And Radha Krishna permanently seated in the heart. And then you are doing only Ashtakaliya Leela, which is very high. They are only thinking about what Krishna is doing. Eternally, they are all getting manifested. They live in that. See, last class I told you how our Gurudev was actually, even though we see him walking, but the thing is, he is actually serving there. So Radha Krishna permanently seated, gets seated in the heart. And the devotional ecstasy and tears and crying, everything manifests. That is this Niruddha stage. We actually do not know how powerful we will become when we concentrate and control our mind. Here is an example. We see the sunlight. They are actually scattered all over, going in all the directions. Photons, right? Photons are the basic element of the lights. They are traveling with different phases. They travel scattered means what? They are going in different angles. It's called phase. P-H-A-S-E, phase. Phase angles. Every photon has power, little power. But they are powerless by themselves. Why? Because they are going all the way here and there. So because every ray has a different phase or angle. Okay, that is studied in physics, of course. That is why we are not getting burned. Right? We are all surrounded by the lights. So much of light in this room. But we are not harmed. There is no one poking us like a laser. But however, you take the same amount of light that you see in your room, and you put all the rays in the same phase, angle. That's called phase. Right? Great magic happens. We get a laser. A laser beam is produced by channeling all the light rays into same phase and direction. That becomes so powerful to drill a hole on a metal that you saw. It's just a laser, it's a light. In fact, we can even make a very powerful laser if you are funded by anyone. By channeling more light from the sun, and you have a torch, that's laser. You can shoot some object on the moon's surface. You can do it. All comes from the power of the scattered light. Because they are not concentrated. If they are concentrated, they are very powerful. The yogis know this great secret behind our mind. So if the mind is concentrated and channeled, because the yogis know how to channelize and put all the thoughts in one phase, that is meditation or concentration. So the yogis get tremendous power from controlling the mind like this. They get Ashtasiddhi power by this. However, okay, now coming to the point, the goal. What is the goal of the control in the mind? There are two goals. For yogis, it is different. For bhaktas, it is totally different. Yogis control their minds to get Ashtasiddhi power. Bhaktas control their minds via sadhana to realize our real nature and serve Radha Krishna. So their goals are entirely different. But unfortunately, most of us are actually controlled by our mind. We are all Manasa Dasa. Manasa Dasa. Slave of our mind. The mind is connected to all the senses. And the senses work with the brain. Brain controls the nerves. The fact is that all our sense enjoyments are nothing but nerve tickling. The tickling of our nerves. This nerve tickling. These nerve ticklings are fed to the mind eventually by the senses through the work of the brain. So the brain is an organ in helping that mind, the nerve tickling. That's all it is. So the mind is not in the brain. Mind is in the subtle body. You cannot see. When you live as a ghost, right? When you leave the body, the subtle mind and the soul goes. Gross body is put out. The subtle mind is not material. I mean, not material means not the material as the gross body, but still it is material. Our subtle bodies are the material because all our mind, intelligence, false ego, everything, they're all material still. But it is a subtle. So all the nerve ticklings are fed to the mind by the senses, and the mind thinks that it is enjoying. Or of course suffering is also right, pain, whatever, they're all also the same case. So all our shastras say that this enjoyment is insignificant. It is like enjoying as eating a stool. Only for peaks like minds, it will be what? It will be really very enjoyable. So this is the enjoyment that our mind is actually doing, not the soul. Soul doesn't need this kind of enjoyment. That needs only spiritual engagement. When you really go and then, hear about Lord and sing about the Lord, that is soul touching. It touches the soul. See, we are not our mind, we are not our body. We are Jiva soul. We need to make our soul happy, not the material mind. Only when we control our mind and reach Niruddha stage, then our devotional services gives enjoyment to our soul. Hope you all understand this very important point. Only the Niruddha stage can give bliss to our soul. That is constant bliss, constant ecstasy. Now a question. Okay, it's very difficult for me to control. What if I really like this? I am living my life until my die. What will happen? There is a big danger. Uncontrolled mind leads us to the 3 gates of hell. Think about you have a horse, and it is totally uncontrolled, and you are just riding on that. Where will that horse, that mind will take you? Wherever it wants. And where will it go? This is the nature of the mind. Uncontrolled mind will lead us to the 3 gates of hell. What are they? Lust, kama, anger, and greed. So this is why Bhagavad Gita nicely said about these 3 gates to the hell. Trividam narakakshedam dwaram nashanam atmanaha. It's a nashanam. Finish. You destroy the atma. What are they? Kama krodastada lobhas tasmat yetatrayam tyajet. There are 3 gates leading to this hell. Lust, anger. Lust means not only kama, it's also food, eating, food. So many things. Material desire. Any desire that you really have on this material platform, there are lust. Of which kama is the topmost. So, there are 3 gates leading to this hell. Lust, anger, and greed. An uncontrolled mind embraces these. This is the problem. So, if you just want to live like this as an animal, where will you end up in? It will take you to the gate. It's wide open, and your mind like a horse, it will enter there. You don't have any choice. So an uncontrolled mind embraces this. Every sane man should give these up, for they lead to the degradation of the soul. Nashanam atmanaha. That dwaram, those 3 vidam, the 3 dwaram, 3 gates, what they do? Nashanam atmana nashanam. Finished. You are finished. So, we have to think. We want to get ourselves destroyed and then pushed to the hell. So, this is a great danger. Uncontrolled mind will pull us in the hell. So, if we do not want to go to hell, we have to do the mind control. But to control the mind, there are many do's and don'ts that we have to be careful. Here is a list of 6 activities that cause one's mind uncontrolled and put our devotional goal in big jeopardy. We have to be very careful here now. What are those 6 activities? Atyahara prayascha prahajalpo niyamagraha janasanga laulyam cha sadbir bhaktir pranasyati. This is from Upadeshamrita. What are they? Number 1, Atyahara, overeating. This is a constant problem in this material world. You go to the extreme and you live to eat, not eat to live. So this mindset of atyahara, ahara means food. Atyahara means ever eating, overeating, more than what is required for your body. Whatever that is more than whatever that you to maintain your body, more than if you are eating, that means you are atyahara, overeating. Of course, that gives obesities and this problem, that problem. Diabetes. Diabetes actually nothing but actually what? That's a food habit problem. Eating more than necessary. Then second one, prayas, workaholic and doing so many things, juggling. Juggling this one, that one, so many things I am juggling. You can see these many people nowadays. What happens is, as the electronic world, the internet world is so much coming, it is really killing our minds. Too much communications, unwanted communications. You go to the, wherever you go, just ting, chat. No. A simple life, in simple life, you don't really want to, you will hate that. You just throw it out somewhere. That's it. Otherwise, you cannot concentrate. I will tell you, by engaging this phone and all kinds of electronic gadgets for communication, this back and forth, your mind becomes uncontrolled. Period. Third, big problem, prajalpo. Prajalpo means gossip, talking about others, right? And then laughing at them, and criticizing them. This is a prajalpo. So this prajalpo, this gossip, is like honey for so many people. And yeah, I have unlimited calls. Call. All right, you talk for 2 hours. For what they will be talking about? Talking about others. Other people. That is called prajalpo. Prajalpo will kill your devotion. Finished. Very, very dangerous. This is Rupa Goswami. He is saying these are the very, very dangerous things. Now, fourth one. Niyama agraha. Lazy on following the rules. Lazy on doing our duties. Or even over enthusiasm. Sometimes what happens, I am so enthusiastic to really do this, but the thing is that's a nonsense. It has nothing to do with your goal or anything. But you get excited, you get interested. Just like that you get interested. That's also called nityagraha. Over enthusiasm are the worst part. Most of the people who go through the laziness. And fifth one is janasanga. Janasanga means associating with unwanted, these worldly people. They will drag you to hell. Your sadhana, your devotion, your ultimate goal of this human body is in jeopardy. If you are associating this kind of people, parties. The sixth one is laulyam, greedy. Arey, how much money you want? How much food you need? But they accumulate. Golden chain, golden watch, this and that. For what? What you need is a reliable car. I don't have to buy the costliest car. I don't have to really wear all kinds of nonsense there. What is it going to do? Are you going to take it when you are leaving this body? Not even a single sand you can take it. What is the purpose of our life? To give charity. When you give charity, that will come with you. When you help others, that will come to you. This is what the thing is. But people love you. They get double salary, triple salary, 3 jobs working, 2 jobs here and there. For what? Like a dog. No sense at all. This is laulyam, greedy. And also at the same time, here are the 6 attitudes that are necessary on the part of the practitioner if bhakti is to reach its perfection. So one should have enthusiasm for devotional practice, faith that he will achieve Krishna, the patience in attaining that goal of prema, must follow Guru and Vaishnavas, associate with the devotees, satsanga, and accept the principles of a saintly life. Live like a saint. These are the things we should do. And these are the do's, and those are all the don't do's. And 6 Mahavakyas on this devotion. This are all taken from Bhagavad Gita mostly, and then also some from Srimad Bhagavatam. Manmana bhava mat bhakto. Always think of me and become my devotee. Mam ekam sharanam braja. Take shelter of me alone. Mam ekam sharanam braja. Take shelter of me alone. Not anyone else. Not demigods. The third one, Mahieva Mana Adatswa. Fix your mind exclusively on me. Mahi Buddhim Niveshaya. Use your intelligence to understand me. Bhaktya Mam Abhijanati. This is one can know me only through devotion. This is very important. This is very important. Without devotion to Krishna, we have no way. And Bhaktyaham Ekaya Grahya. I can be attained through only. See, again he is reiterating in Srimad Bhagavatam. But these are following, all these things are very difficult for me. I want a silver bullet. Okay, so, but if I am looking for one single silver bullet, then what is it? Actually, that silver bullet also comes with so much of power. Here comes the important point. Satvik, and so we really talked about that. Satvik and also eating less was number one for the mind control. Here comes a silver bullet coming. Shravanam. Hearing Harikatha is the savior. So this is the Srimad Bhagavatam. So you know what it is saying? O king, a person who suffering with the various kinds of miseries in this world because of the mind problems, but he desires to cross over the unlimited ocean of material existence, samsara ocean, has no alternative but to take a boat. What is the boat? What you are seeing? In the form of relishing the joys of hearing Krishna's pastimes. Not anyone else's pastime. What is there? What pastime that for the other gods have done? Nothing. There is no pastime other than Krishna's pastime. See, that's why he is Leela Purushottama. So, by hearing the sweet Leelas, the pastimes of Krishna, what happens? That is the boat. You got a boat to cross the ocean. So, this is the jewel of instructions. Just to hear Harikatha from pure devotees, Shravanam, then your mind will be controlled. Look at here, he is going to be there. You know, it is like a tiger, you are taking a tiger, that's your mind. And then sitting in the Harikatha, and the tiger, that's what happens. So look at Sanatana Goswami in the cave. He was residing in Vrindavan in the forest. That time it was a forest. Now there is no forest there. So there was a lion also living nearby. He didn't know. But he was chanting and chanting and chanting and singing. And the lion was listening to all the Harikatha, whatever that he was doing. And it changed the mind and came and then fell at the feet of Sanatana Goswami. He accepted, that lion as one of the kind of a disciple. So that lion was really so controlled. And that lion used to go out to the street and beg all chapatis for Sanatana Goswami. So this was how it was powerful to tame even a wild animal. That's exactly this is saying here. Okay? So here, Harikatha, your mind will be controlled. That tiger that you are carrying with you inside, big tiger, very, very cruel tiger, that tiger will be tamed. It will become gentle and it will become your friend. You can now ride on the tiger. This is the great secret. What is the secret here? Relishing the Harikatha of Lord Krishna. So hearing Krishna Katha is the best purification of our mind. Once the demigods went to Dwaraka when Lord Krishna was there to really see him and then offer prayer. That prayer, what they offered, it is revealing the same fact. Sudhir niranam natu tadetya durashayanam vidya srutadya yana dana tapakriya bihi satvatmanam rishabade Yasasi pravruddha Sachraddaya Sravana Sambrutaya Yatashyat. Oh worshipful one, oh Krishna, O Supreme Person, devotees engaged in hearing your glories with a pure and mature faith and they are more quickly purified than who? Those who harbor personal desires, those who are worshipping demigods, listening to Vedic learning, studying the scriptures here and there, sometimes here, sometimes there, memorizing this and this. Giving charity, even more than the charities is this one. Performing penances, standing on one leg. You will see a lot of siddhas, standing on one leg. Or engaging in other ritual process of purification. So hearing Krishna Katha is the best purification for the mind. And the lotus feet of Krishna is supremely auspicious. The sloka says, the Supreme Lord's lotus feet are the greatest source of auspiciousness. By never forgetting them, all inauspiciousness will be destroyed. And peace finally settles on the mind. Once being is genuinely purified, the devotion to the Lord is awakened and one attains the knowledge combined with realization and renunciation. This is the highest. His lotus feet are the supremely auspicious thing for anyone. And Srimad Bhagavatam says that ecstatic devotion completely controls the mind. Katham vina roma harsham Travata chetasa vina vinananda srukalaya sutyed bhaktya vinashaya. So how can a person's heart be purified without the ecstatic devotion that causes his hair to stand on end? His mind melting with love, because we are talking about controlled mind now. And tears flowing from his eyes. Well, no tears will flow from our eyes unless we listen to Harikatha. Now I am going to be concluding soon. Krishna Bhakti is very powerful. It cleanses our mind like melting gold for purity. Just as heated gold is freed of its impurities and retrieves its natural brightness, so does the soul become purified of its accumulated karmic reaction, the dirt. Through, only by Krishna Bhakti, we can purify. Like you are actually heating the gold, the impure gold to make it pure. So hearing Harikatha cleanses all sins and now opens our spiritual eyes. As the spirit soul is cleansed of all the sins by hearing about my passion, this is actually Krishna is talking about. He is able to clearly see the most subtle truths. Just as an eye which has been treated with collyrium means the eye, they put, I'm not talking about the chemical things what you put here, no. In India, those times there used to be some Ayurvedic preparation. If you put on the lids of the eye, your eye power will be actually more clear. That's what this one is saying. So in a nutshell, our mind should be devoted only to think about Krishna. Manmana bhava madbhakta matyadi mam namaskuru mam ye vaishyasi satyam te pratijane priyoshime. Always think about me, worship me by engaging in the devotional service of hearing and chanting. Serve me in my deity form. Offer your very obeisance, very being. Basically, you give everything, yourself to me, and you will so surely reach me. This is my promise to you, to be, because you are my friend. There are so many called religions in this world. According to Srimad Bhagavatam, they are all cheating religions. You should read the Bhagavatam. There are so many religions unnecessarily created. And Lord Krishna asks us to abandon all the dharmas and religions and just surrender to Him. Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tuam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma chusaha. These religions don't even support eating sattvic food. Instead, these are all abandon all religions following related to varnashrama and mundane religions. Give up the worship of all the demigods related to those religious activities. Surrender exclusively unto me. You don't have to fear at all for any ill effects or anything. I will take care. I will liberate you from any sins. Do not fear. I promise that anyone who surrenders to me is freed from sin, is liberated from the cycle of repeated birth and death, and receives all that is needed to attain me. He will come to me. Alright? So, but we also need mercy from pure devotees of Krishna, to follow anything. See, our mind control, unless with their help, they also help. It's very, we are weak. So Lord Krishna gives us the instructions. But what kind of strength do we have to follow them? For that we need the mercy from pure devotees, his pure devotees. Otherwise we cannot succeed in performing any sadhana. We have to surrender to dear bhaktas of the Lord. Then only our mind can be controlled. Otherwise, getting out of the clutches of Maya is impossible. Only by the mercy of the Vaishnavas we can get over Maya, and our mind will be then controlled, and it will become our dear and powerful. So, while we have learned that listening to Harikatha in Satsanga and with the help of pure devotees, we can purify our mind and make it controlled and happy. Here are the three important things to give us the strength to our spiritual practice. These are like tonic, almighty tonic, super tonic. Okay, that will help us when hearing Harikatha. It will definitely subdue our mind. What are they? Bhakta pada duliyara bhakta pada jala bhakta bhukta aveshesha thina mahabala ye tina seva haite Krishna prema haya puna sarva satre pukariya kaya. It's from Chaitanya Charitamrita. He said, the dust of the devotee's lotus feet, bhakta pada duli. 2. The water which has washed their lotus feet, bhakta pada jala, and the remnants of their food. Whatever they eat, they give some remnants. Bhakta bhukta aveshesha. So what is the summary of today's class? Uncontrolled mind is our biggest problem. The sthula part of our food we eat, which is really, sattvic food has more of that. That influence, that is what is really going to contribute to our mind, so that we can actually control it. So sattvic food is very important. Mind alone is the cause of bondage. It is also the cause of our liberation. There are 5 stages of mind control. Khipa, flickering. Mudda, bewildered. Vikshipa, distracted with the external things. Ekagra, concentrated like a steady flame in the windless room. And Niruddha, controlled. Lust, anger and greed are the 3 gates to hell that an uncontrolled mind will take us to. Sadhana must be to focus our mind on Krishna. Dangerous, what are the dangerous? Overeating, being workaholic, doing unnecessary things, more than what you can do. Gossiping, laziness, bad association, and greed. These are dangerous for our devotion. And hearing Harikatha cleanses our mind and opens spiritual eyes. Our mind should be trained to meditate on lotus feet of Krishna. Krishna Bhakti purifies our mind. There are 3 super tonics that we went through. Bhakta Pada Duli, the food dust of the pure devotees. Bhakta Pada Jala, the water that washed the feet of pure devotees. And the remnants from the pure devotees. Always think about Krishna, abandon all the cheating religions, and surrender only to Krishna. Okay, any questions?
Kirupe paibo seva moi durachara Shri Guru Vaishnaverati na hoilo amara Kirupe paibo seva moi durachara Shri Guru Vaishnaverati na hoilo amara Asesha mayate mana magana hoilo Vaishnavete lesha matra ratina janmilo Vishaya bhuliya anda hoinu divanashi gale pa माया से पिशाची विषय भूलिया अंधा होइनु दीवानशी गले पान से दीता फिरा माया से पिशाची की रूपे पाइबो सेवा मोई दुराचारा श्री गुरु वैष्णवेरति ना होइलो आमारा इहारा करिया जय चंदना नया साधु कृपा बिना आरा नहीं को उपाय इहारा करिया जय चंदना नया साधु कृपा बिना आरा नहीं को उपाय की रूपे पाइबो सेवा मोई दुराचारा श्री गुरु वैष्णवेरति ना होइलो आमारा आदर्श दरसी प्रभो पतित उद्धारा এই বারো নারোতা মে করুণা নিস্তারা आदर्श दरसी प्रभो पतित उद्धारा এই বারো নারোতা মে করুণা निस्तारा की रूपे पाइबो सेवा मोई दुराचारा श्री गुरु वैष्णवेरति ना होइलो आमारा की रूपे पाइबो सेवा मोई दुराचारा श्री गुरु वैष्णवेरति ना होइलो आमारा की रूपे पाइबो सेवा मोई दुराचारा श्री गुरु वैष्णवेरति ना होइलो आमारा ना होइलो आमारा ना होइलो